about to have conversation around climate change and global warming. If you've been listening to conversation around the world, over to say, yes, climate change, global warming, yebisa say, how does it affect you? How does it affect Ghanaians? To say, we will be hosting the Africa Summit when it comes to climate change. How is it going to impact on our lives? But I think so sometime right from last year, not the weather, the seasons have changed. Time hot na say insuo to bre na say riabo hamatan na insuo to. You're really not sure what is going on. And a lot of people will be saying climate change, climate. Something becomes a buzzword ma walk up, but you really do not know what goes into it. Depending about Chenkomo and Nana Pay Nana Yao or say Dakwa, who is the convener when it comes to the Green Public Project, the Green Republic Project, and so that by the end of our conversation, at least you and I will be able to give proper information and also know what to do when it comes to our role that we need to play. Many role that we need to play in conserving the climate, and that's the world at large. Nana Yamal Kwaba. Lovely to have you.
Good to have me here too.
Like I was saying, sometime last year, I think, when it was Nancy to bring in New Year, Nancy to, I think so. No time I never say you ejai tono. Nancy to ya consistently into, I think, even the latter part of the year. The one thing that comes to mind is climate change, because it's like a buzzword. Yeah, can say climate change. What really is that?
Yeah, so climate change basically is about changes in climatic conditions, and these climatic conditions, changing them come about as a result of our own activities, human activities and our actions and inactions. And so one of the major causes of climate change is, for instance, deforestation. Mm-hmm. Deforestation, in the sense that, I mean, as a people, we cut down trees indiscriminately, and then also the emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, which adversely affects, the ozone layer.
Nanaya, for the sake of our audience and our viewers, I want us to break it down and also yemfechi and one na ye baby na mema menso ati asese or her actions or inactions are the way and then we can correct that.
Okay, so Nema, I was saying, as humans, say nipa da se ni abrabo aye bo asasi so ennua ya de bia e wo hot to serve us. Yen nipa nnua anema yen mframa na ye home no.
No correct.
Na mframa na ye home no so Nyankopon enyansa mu no ohwa baby a eye desert bia nipa ntumi occupy that space. Inti nnua ni desert so. Baby and you are a na nipa name more, biodiversity. Na in Yano carbons are a war in from him a year to say car emissions, it will say we see car, so amount for shake car tires, sa fumes niano. In Riano air absorbs our carbons from the atmosphere. And in the wisdom of God, this same carbons now Indiana action, Indiana uses carbons as raw material or they produce oxygen
okay.
In the situation where so you say done who rough galam say by the iOS you deplete a forest at a very fast rate, so these things bring about the changes in climatic conditions because one insuo cry say insuo betono ohwe omomo kwae mu those areas now where trees are, where the forest is thick, rainfall patterns near very high, which tells us say India play a role,
a very big role
in having rainfall this animal. When we clear the lands, when we cut down the trees, for instance, then we're depriving ourselves of the many benefits now in the so what I say and also contribute immensely to the climate change. Now, say climate change in CBR, to say the year who we are seeing rainfall patterns, to say the kind of time our farmers say a time I was say a door, ye palm na she time open and time I went in that say I was saying shoot or not in shoot. ana ejahyehyɛ o hwɛ around the world like California near the wildfires it's just not flooding, you know, because of intense heat now, global warming no, the Arctic area no snow any ice ananka ehipia ejina hot to mountains for decades, centuries no, now ninya melting and air melting no I say air nane no na air kopum sea levels no so air rise it should talk akra yen aye suban so na say obehu na efie bia oberem bia ya tile baby concrete all over yen just space e was say insuo to a ebetumi akọ asase ni enti insuo talk akra wa concretize ufie the next person why the next person why there but the earth is to receive sa insuo na air bar na holding it down enti na say obehwa insuo to be 10-15 minutes crowd and not the craft na baby are flooded because we put in concrete on the surface of the earth. So now me baby
before you started your submission you were saying our actions and inactions.
Yes.
And Kamba baby say me am Timmy fee ne me mami or tiffy and I say you know Max Legends are one more shame. A DNA your contribution, but I think say you've already the one.
Yeah, your contribution is be na making. Say e be buphobia ba. You see demonstration. The next thing you see say nkofo gather car ties. Not almost a criminal. We don't have to do that because some fumes they fit tied very poisonous. It's not good for our consumption.
Okay.
Cars, fumes na if you mubano. Ubo exhaust na we see tu. Intina ya police for crowd etumiche obi ohun say because I don't a poison atmosphere no. Inti wo home sa de ko mu so me home especially when Indiana e was say a twe sa carbons no na e use no for oxygen no. Indiana ni ho inti wo ne me ne ye nuanom ne ma me mo no ye na ye home san frama no. And obehwa bo say yawe basa huro bebre aba ye nti ase but sad na eni wo say ye home koyemu no ye home koyemu inti na e destroy ye ankasa in terms of health wo hwe biodiversity bia ye susa no afafranto the other things I mean they were common all over the place because there was the Fiona the atmosphere there were a lot of trees flowers here and there today they are all gone. Inti me background my wouldn't make sure say we who butterfly live butterfly that you know because but formerly when we were growing up I grew up in the tertiary you know area
true.
A lot of you know butterflies all over because there were flowers there were trees the greenery was there but today I say the first thing you do is to cut every tree on it.
It's true.
Meanwhile some you also na my life enquire timunya in you don't make sure say you won kwa you to me home and from a echo now if you trust and you are not then then it means that one kasa don't person unyankwa
will live it
so as I say inti yeah kasa your actions to say them kind ne galamsey fo ya omu tu no omu say asase no sade no so say nsuo no it say everything around us no yen nipa na kasa ye greed insatiable greed say abode na nyame boy na e was say ye hwe so ye de betena asase so say yen hwe nyame abode no so na yen trim inti yen the Green Republic project no what we've taken upon ourselves and they say ye be hwe ye feel say ndua ho hia papa inti no we make it your duty say ye ni amanfo be ka bom na yetumi edua ndua 20 million in the next 10 years that's the vision 20 years time we should be able to plant 10 years we should be able to plant 20 million trees. And we started off in 2017 with a pilot in Winneba, and we then started proper work in Tamale in the northern region, where we've planted trees. I mean, our first plantation had 3,500 trees, and they are doing beautiful. You know, and we've had plantations in Mion in the northern region also. We've done, you know, stuff in Ningo, you know, the Pram area. So, I mean, it's ongoing, and we've also been pushing and calling on government for a national tree planting day, which eventually came to pass in the Green Ghana Day. I think it's a very, very good call that the president made on all of us.
Before I go a bit into this tree planting, because I feel, education in Niwa, I planted 3 million trees. We'll still not take care of it. You know, Mama baby, then I'll come to that one.
You know, I'm so happy, you know, the Green Republic is doing that.
Yeah.
Probably been doing that for a very long time, but we didn't know, say nua wo mu duaduane ni na no ye wo ko be from Green Republic wo na wo duaduane ni na. So congratulations, you know, on the contributions that y'all are doing saving the earth.
Yes.
Because yes, everybody plants trees in their houses, but in the dodo
yes,
say I mean, we are not heading towards any place. But these are my questions, maybe 3. First and foremost, Obianim say in the capital of every country, you know, you will not actually see things the way you would see in the rural parts.
Yeah.
Wokon kurenkurasi won dia won no cement ben. Ti ubenya trees, ubenya way. There's always that backyard gardening. There's always that no dua no mudi. Na won di no mudua. Inti no ne chi onom kra anya bibia kra tomatoes kakra we kakra. And then we call some of us our houses say any papa nom ni wait na ya ubenya kube, ubenya brobe, ubenya kontomre, ubenya, you know, is there. Ya mantem no. And yet to cement go baby, can you blame us? Now what I'm asking is that your capital will be got to us, yeah, definitely. On to me say enuana wo hono mintwa already sidan. Enti no, nyebeba ne say obetwitwa enuane bi ana say so that obetimi esini dan. Ye wonua bi wo ho a obi wo ho timi ja. And no craft serves as shade.
Yeah.
And a lot of things. What do we do now? Because now uko be fear. Mimi say uja obia. It's not right. You know, plant everywhere. Or now uko be fear. If you are the cement good or hodie. But wakata some places are
absolutely.
Or plant on, you know, lawns and or yet way to save a so. I know your obi property. Now, what is the government or organizations that are helping or contributing to save, you know, green earth, you know, what are they doing about all of these things? Instead of, you know, our homes, you don't really have so much power, but outside of the homes, where we say the islands in between streets, no, they will plant trees. You will see them planting the trees. Who comes back to maintain it? Who comes back to check whether at the end of the year no krano?
Yeah.
Akodu na say enye ye akoduru hin. Obeba na o ma planting yama wo island nim. Na when the basket ahihye ho se na ebia mponche ana de me who be South Africa crowd as aponche nam kwam. But ombeba bere ana bribi. Until they put the basket. Na me ne wu mienu ye kra hia basket na ya de ebedu anwumre ne akoyi basket na ne ye de koye fie. You understand? So what is being done? It's not about planting too many trees, but maintaining the trees, making sure that the trees that are being planted, you know, have a forest reserve. And we are not doing. We have a developmental show, but in will be out to me say forest are yen enough it collaborate na yen na you know. Near to tell you will be property will be a chaha will be a say. That is the reserve. It's not like it's a reserve. If there were forest reserves, we wouldn't mind that we do not have trees. So what is Green Republic doing together with the government and maybe a sole organization as you are to make sure that there's maintenance, to make sure that there's forest reserve, to make sure that, you know, all these things, the little things that we can do, no, is still there. Before crab won croffa wo mo ties because some de wutu am no mo ba ye ka scraps foi baby a no mo hye but what is the organization doing?
Okay, so thanks very much for the question, very elaborate. And I mean, and some of the concerns you raised, you know, are the very reasons why we went into this particular area of work. You know, so for instance, when we launched, the idea was to get young people, especially because, you know, as leaders of tomorrow, to get involved, you know, and also to imbibe this kind of tradition and culture of learning how to plant trees. Because we did a little survey and we asked people in the streets and all that. And I mean, about 96% of the people we spoke to have never planted a tree, young people. And yet these trees are very, very crucial to our future. You know, so we decided to create this organization to go to the schools. So we have advocacy, you know, programs going to the schools to explain what we stand to lose if we do not pay attention to the environment, you know, get them educated and all that. And then, because we are a non-governmental organization, I mean, we're not into politics and all that. So what we do is say, we became like a voice, you know, to try to get government to do the things that we need to do. So, for instance, we decided to plant trees, but we do not have the capacity, you know, to do and scale up to the levels that government can do. So what we did was that during our lunch, we invited Sir John, may his soul rest in peace, you know, as a special guest of honor. He couldn't make it, but the regional manager for the northern region was there, read his speech and said, we love what you guys are doing and we're going to give you the backing because it's our mandate to do what you want to do. You know, so after we set off and started planting, all we're doing is to point the way to also mount a form of pressure on government to pay attention to our reserves and all that. In fact, what even triggered us to go into this space was that in 2017, thereabout, 17, 18, there was a World Forest, you know, Watch. There was a report that Ghana's deforestation rate was the worst in the world. And it really hit me, you know, as a Ghanaian. It was like, how can we be the ones destroying our forests than any other group on planet Earth? You know, so that report really shook me, and I thought that we needed to do this, bring awareness. And I can say on authority that since the Green Republic project started this thing, we brought more light. We activated a certain action within the Ghanaian community, and people began to plant trees. Like I said earlier, whilst we're doing that, we're also forcefully pushing for a National Tree Planting Day, and there are numerous videos and newspaper publications to that effect, you know, to try and get government to scale up and to up their game in terms of, you know, making sure our environment is okay. So, to your question, you know, for instance, in planting trees, the state has a role. We also have a role as individuals to keep our environment clean. Now, when it comes to the mass planting, you and I have no control, you know, because we can only take, you know, command of our space in terms of our homes and immediate environs. But to go out to plant in the median of the roads and all that, it's a governmental, you know, thing. Now, you also raise a concern about tree care. It's not just about planting trees. And that is what we do best. We do not just go about planting trees. We ensure that the trees we plant grow. And so we pay attention and also ensure that the time we plant is critical. So we do it during the raining season, from May, June, July, August, thereabout, so that the trees can get, you know, good rains, you know, to grow. And it's worked so far. Now, when it comes to, for instance, the Green Ghana project, which we initiated, pushed, and government adopted, the idea, what we had in mind, is not what we see. You know, because what we had in mind, like you said, the forest reserves and all that, yes, Galamsey and other activities are depleting the already existing forest. But you see, it also brings to the fore the wisdom that our old people had, our great-grandfathers, where they will tell you that you don't go, this forest is forbidden, you don't go into this forest, you know, and when farming, Thursdays, you can't go to the farm, or Tuesdays, you can't go. These, I mean, in our current situation, we think that we are more educated and enlightened, but I shudder to say they've shown too much intelligence than us with all the books that we've learned. You know, these things were to help regenerate the forest and the fishes in the sea. You know, that's how come. But they put a certain kind of traditional, you know, wisdom, fear in the people. Because if you let people understand that, oh, you can do whatever you want, the forest, there's nothing living there, that's how come people go and abuse it. So what we're looking at doing was that for every district, because government does not own land, they were going to partner with the chiefs and ensure that every district, the paramountcy there will release a certain space of land. And then instead of sparingly growing everywhere, which cannot be controlled, you know, the way we have it, there's no way you're going to be able to monitor trees to see whether they're doing well or not, because it will be a logistical nightmare. you know, to follow every seedling that has been planted, because you don't even know where the people planted it in the first place. So what we're looking at was for us to have those district enclaves where 100,000 trees or 200,000 trees would be sitting in one space. So in the morning of the Green Ghana Day, everybody goes to that particular field, picks up a seedling and plants with the supervision of the Forestry Commission of Ghana, sitting there. So if you are in South Africa or you are in the US or you are in the UK, you can go online and through these Google Maps and all that, can even locate where the trees are. It wouldn't be rocket science. So that we can also have proper tree care. Because once they are all sitting in the space, it even creates employment. Because then you would need people to be weeding in between and also ensuring that the trees get care. Now, when somebody wants to find out how many trees have been planted, where are the trees, as people ask, you can easily say, go to so and so district at this address, you find the trees sitting there. You can easily multiply the number of trees you planted there times the number of districts you have, and you can put the figures on the table, and nobody will dispute it. But currently, I mean, the way we're going about it, I shudder to say there is no way that we can practically care for the trees to account properly for the number of trees planted. We can throw about figures, but in terms of the real numbers, we wouldn't be able to know, because people go pick up the seedlings and plant in their own way. Some even chew it away, you know, on refuse dumps and all that.
Okay, so I am very happy that we can come on this conclusion. Sesiano, yen kan twi ma wonti ase. Wo fie de yen ntimi mo wura ho be kire baby a wo fa wunua. NCC. Na emo nua no so wo fie so ebebo anya only for shade, but at least yen ka se to pete ayi nnua wo baby a wo fie mu. Na emo munya baby kakra wo betimi, you know, wo de edua ba kwesi won ye be pete baby a wo bi dan nim kura na esisi ho na ekofa ntokwa aba fie. So a Sabio would ye in Yana Wolfie and why a hawk come and ya wolfie, and Emma buying bedia nia, ewo a year abontinia, no wako, opedia. There are so many places you can get trees, seedlings and stuff to buy.
Exactly.
But the old train I buy a baby dear, we numre, swum no wako tu, no wako dian wolfie. You've been doing it. You've been doing it. A boy no more, much won't call jogging, ubo over no be to a bear will say, as so man say, or man may yet training where you man so not would be at the call. Mama mayenga sa uko bi man so ase hoye wo fe ai mra wo ho ana se nipa ne di wo hu ni se omu se wo se yedua yi plants ana we ana se yedua bi a wo se ye ne basa basa nti no hoye wo fe de bia na abrochef wo ye wo de sa ha so ebe ye fe. So you know that's a good contribution to saving the earth, and the Green Republic, you know, our project, you know, it's a brilliant one. And the baby obe hu amu bia no mwa bia wasa wode boa ana sutie bia no ye na netie na boa and trees bebrebe omu due wo so de na obedua ne ka ho a boa no a eyeyi. You understand? So this very time that Ghana be hosti African Summit, no, you know, mama yengu ye ho ani mu ase yenye ni yie na ye ni yie a de nyama bebrebe bro man no ediska edimpuntuo nyama bebrebe bro man no sa ties hye baby who see basa o car no change exhaust no o gina car bi to kura wo wani mu an pusi obebo a o so air condition na namu na ohome ni na enkoyi. All right, so if anybody is looking for Green Republic, me pa try fan ombino
yeah, corporate office there or Tamale.
Okay,
because you decided say over the northern part of Ghana, that is where desertification approach very fast.
Right.
So that's where we have our corporate office, Tamale. And then in Accra, we're also in East Legon,
okay,
you know, where we operate from. I mean, but you can reach us on our website, you know, on our social media handles. Your website here, www.greenrepublicgh.org. And yeah, Facebook here, the Green Republic Project.
Oh, okay.
And
that easy for you.
Twitter at the Green Report.
Okay.
And then Instagram, the Green Republic GH.
Okay, so you just have to go look for the Green Republic Project, and you will find all the details that you need. but so be no one or two things otiasie the Green Republic project oko socials ne so no was so all right thank you so much that is a nice way to end the show.